I'm here with Evagoras Papasavas, who will be joining the HMD Brigade this weekend. You told me a little bit earlier, the goal for this weekend is just to be a sponge. Now, in this first practice session, what are you going to be trying to get out of it?
Yeah, it's all just going to be about learning them as much as possible, getting the whole process of how practice one goes in an INDY NXT race weekend. Just to get comfortable, really. That's it. Get comfortable so that way, build up that confidence. So for practice two and most importantly qualifying in the race, I'm feeling ready to start attacking some corners and hopefully get a strong result.
Second time ever just in an INDY NXT car. How can you approach pushing it to its limits with the amount of limited time we have today?
Yeah, it's really all just going to be about feeling how I feel in the car. At the first test that I did at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, towards the end of the day, I was definitely starting to feel very comfortable, which gives me the confidence now to hop in the car and to build on that. So yeah, I'm just really excited to get going.
Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you so much.
This is Dennis Hauger, and he has been fastest in pretty much every session we've seen. The two tests in St. Petersburg, he dominated that weekend as well. He is now 22 years old, and the young man from Norway, Jack, has been quite impressive.
He doesn't look like a rookie. I know he's got a rookie next to his name there, but he comes from a very strong European background. He's won in Formula 3. He's raced in Formula 2. So I don't want people to not give him the credit. He absolutely did a fantastic job. Every track that he's going to this year is completely new to him. Ovals will be completely new to him. But road racing, road course racing, that is so in his wheelhouse. But he did an absolutely fantastic job in St. Pete. There's no doubt about it.
He has been to this track before, a test last fall, so he has some familiarity with it. Most of the drivers have been here, but it's been a little while. Salvador de Alba did, going over the curbs. Some big air, at least medium-sized air.
I'll call that medium-sized air. I mean, actually, we've nearly got a great vantage point of that. That whole sequence is so tricky because you carry so much speed into there, and your downshift strategy, is just a little bit different than a traditional one. You normally have to go down 2 gears, you go over that curb, you go down an extra gear. So there's just a lot happening in that corner, but there's a lot of time there, so that's why you're seeing people maybe pushing a little too hard that early, but that is where there's a lot of speed on this racetrack.
This was just moments ago with Ricardo Escoto going a little bit wide in turn 1. And here's the championship leader, who won the opener with a slide. Hauger coming through that section.
Yeah, I just feel like maybe the tires are not quite up to temperature yet, and you can see him pushing, and nothing crazy happened there. Maybe the front just didn't keep working the way he wanted it to, and again, you're going to see people using that little bit of runoff there, but turn 2 actually is a really difficult corner, so a good one to help set up turn 2 is going to be absolutely critical. Showing why this series is important, learning, because it's going to happen in the INDY NXT. It's also happening in IndyCar, and they need to be prepared and ready that maybe practice 1 is dry, maybe qualifying's wet, maybe the race is dry again. Like, ultimately, we'd have no idea. We can't control that. But you need to make the most of it, because at the end of the race, makes a big impact on the championship too.
We saw a bumpy ride there for the 22-year-old Australian Tommy Smith. Off, back on, all seems to be okay. There's Papasavas, who Georgia talked to a moment ago in the number 24 car for HMD Motorsports, making his debut earlier than planned. He is stepping in for Sophia Flörsch. If you're with us at St. Pete, we talked a lot about Sophia, but they have ended their campaign after the one race at St. Pete. So Papasavas was going to do 3 races later. Seat opened up, tested at Mid-Ohio, decided to jump in, and Evagoras is also now planning to do the road course weekend next weekend at Indianapolis instead of the oval event he was going to do later in the season. There's a look at Colette in the 76 Combatrans car for HMD Motorsports. Callum Hedge moves up to 3rd. He's another one of the veterans in his 2nd season, but has shifted over to Abel this season. Colette coming off a good weekend, podium at St. Pete. Does it take any time, Jack, to get back in a rhythm? Yes, they have tested a little bit, but they haven't raced for 2 months. It's almost like another off-season.
If they hadn't have had the testing, I would say, yeah, maybe it takes a couple of laps to get going. However, No, I don't think so. At this stage of the year, the drivers are either doing simulator days, they're testing. They're so immersed in motor racing right now that no, I wouldn't think so. Unless someone's coming to this track the first time and actually experiencing it for the first time, I would say these drivers are just they're gonna get on with it. They're just gonna go out, they're gonna feel the car, they're gonna make improvements. Times are starting to drop a little bit now, but no, I think they'll be fine.
So we saw the 16 of Tommy Smith off track a little while ago. What's the latest issue? Let's listen in.
There's just so much understeer at turn 1, I can't lift without running off. Don't be afraid to pull your left a little bit earlier and kill a little bit more speed.
And we saw him miss turn 1 pretty significantly. What are they asking him to do? How can he help that situation?
Basically just asking him to do his lift in that corner sooner. That would be the thing. You need to pitch the car a little bit more. Ultimately, if the car's not got a little bit more weight on there, he's going to keep having that issue. It looks like they were making some front wing adjustment there, but obviously in the race, they can't do that. So you have to be able to be adaptable. So that much understeer, we saw him running wide. You're probably going to do a bigger lift, maybe an earlier lift, and really power through the corner better.
We go back down to Georgia with information on the 99 Able Motorsports Force Indy car of Miles Rowe.
Yeah, someone else that's battling some issues right now is Miles Rowe. He sits on pit lane. They have the computers attached to it, and that's because on his last lap before he pulled in, he felt like he was just lacking power. So they have it attached right now. They're trying to diagnose the issue, but he's been on pit lane for a lengthy amount of time.
He's only done 4 laps. He is 19th out of 20 on the speed chart right now. Niels Colin has only done 3 laps. He is slowest for the moment. Here's a look at Josh Pearson, the 19-year-old from Portland, who was the biggest mover at St. Pete. He had mechanical issues, electrical issues, did not get a chance to qualify, started in the back, moved his way up to 9th in the race. That section is so fun to watch. There are 2 or 3 of them here.
This entire racetrack is just so fun, man. There's so much elevation, and actually, no matter what it's on board or TV, it never really quite does it justice just for how much elevation change there is. And also, in those areas of the elevation, they're high speed, they are maximum commitment, and it's just beautiful here. I just love being at Barber Motorsports Park.
And we've got a caution. Red flag. Oh, and it's Evergore's Papasavas making his debut just a second time in an INDY NXT car, has found the barrier. So red flag, everyone will pit. And that'll allow us to pit for just a moment after we take a look and see what we can see as to what put the young driver from Ohio into the barrier.
That's coming into pit lane. I don't think he ever got back to the tarmac.
So hopefully very light contact, just needs to be pulled out of there, and then we'll assess the damage to the front wing and otherwise for Evergore's Papasavas. Georgia also has Evergore's Papasavas, who was just involved in the incident a few moments ago.
Yeah, and he's been released from the IndyCar medical unit. First and foremost, are you okay? And secondly, what happened?
Yeah, I'm all good. It was a fairly light contact with the wall, but just coming up on the entry into the last corner, just as I started to push more and more, get more comfortable, building that confidence to go push more, just carrying a little bit too much speed on the entry, lost the back of the car, and then, once I got in the grass, it was raining earlier today and all last night, so yeah, just the grass was super wet, no chance of stopping, and just hit the wall. So.
Do you believe that you were able to get anything out of the 10 laps that you did complete?
Yeah, I think so for sure. 10 laps is better than none. For practice 2 tomorrow in qualifying, short-term memory, forget about it. Things like this happen, and then build on these 10 laps that I had.
Glad to see you're okay. Kevin?
And the fact that Papasavas is quicker than several other veteran drivers in those limited lap shows that he has the pace. And he'll regroup and get ready to go again tomorrow. So we look at Hailie Deegan. Still going through the learning process, all new in her second weekend in this level of Formula cars. Did do a little bit of Formula Regional last fall. This is a moment ago at Hailie going through the curbing, keeping it all sorted. Georgia has more.
Well, Hailie told me the goal for this practice session for her is really just to work on the high-speed aspects of this racetrack. As we know, Barber, one of the most gorgeous racetracks we go to all year long, but it has some technical parts to it, and the high-speed part's one of those. Jack, Kevin, could you elaborate more on where exactly at this track is considered those high-speed aspects?
I think you have to look at turn 1 as one of the first places, right, to start your lap. As you get through the rest of the lap, over the hill, turn 4, you know, is a corner that's easy to be lazy. You've seen accidents happen there. And then as you get close, that whole final complex from turns 12 through 13, that's such heavy loading, you're really going to feel that weight through the steering wheel, but also there's a lot of compressions as you basically come back up through turns 14 and 15. So I would say for Hailie, focusing on those areas are really going to give her a lot of confidence. One thing to mention about Barber for all the drivers, it is absolutely one of the most physical races on the year. And actually, so far, I feel like she's not as far away as what some people thought she might be. So for her and her team, if I was coaching her right now, just really be under the guidance of let's just make progression every time, which is what they've been focusing on. And honestly, I think it's coming.
Here's another newcomer. First time we've had a look at Max Taylor, 17-year-old, originally from Greenwich, Connecticut, but he's lived in Hoboken, New Jersey for a long time, making his debut. And he's also running a concurrent program in USF Pro 2000, running the full championship there. He's third in that championship after 5 races. He's going to do several races in Indy NXT this year, kind of in a timeshare with Nikita Johnson, who's even younger at 16, that we saw at St. Petersburg.
Kevin, you're making me feel old, and I hate to say that, but
well,
you're making me feel old.
These young drivers, we are old, but it's all relative. Max, a very mature young man, though, and has a lot of experience coming in for his debut. You might remember at St. Pete, Nikita Johnson was saying that was his first time driving the Indy NXT car. Well, Taylor has 6 test days coming in, so he is hoping, and has very modest expectations, but is hoping that he can get off to a good start. As Kyle Collette goes to the top, knocking Andretti off that spot. No issue long term for the 48. What happened? Just push wide and 1. Whoa.
Oh.
That's a pretty sturdy Dallara to be able to continue on with that.
I would say.
Ramp.
It looks like he's not slowing down too terribly much there.
And that wing.
Something definitely flew off that car, right?
Dug in the dirt. Is it okay? It might be. And here is a Skoda and another incident with a big slide right before pit entry. And now we've got a red flag. Whoa.
And that's what I was just about to say. It's such a dangerous, well.
Because he was coming back on, potentially.
It's a dangerous spot to be. You stop people coming in pit lane. Let's just see what he does first.
Room to set a gap. Have room to set a gap.
Just loses the rear there. That's a vulnerable spot that he is right now. There's no driver that's happy ever to see that. And what obviously you saw on the other shot was a car actually spin. Maybe they were spinning to avoid him.
Yeah. Was that Murray that was coming from behind him? There he is right there. That is the 2. That's Sebastian Murray.
It's not what you want to see.
No, so he's trying to get out of the pit entrance, but then he pulls right back onto the racetrack there, and that is likely going to effectively end the session. So we've seen the top single lap speeds with Howard, Collette, Pearson, Hughes, and De Alba. If you're interested in 10 lap averages, this is that list. Starting with Josh Pearson, who was 3rd quick overall, and Jordan Missick was 14th quick overall in that category. And over a 35 lap race, this is one of those tracks that does have some degradation. We've seen that with people trying to hang on to their tires towards the end of an INDY NXT race, especially if it stays entirely green. So there is something to that.